had, you can stand with me, but I'm going to have Charmin introduce you. But I was listening on the radio this morning, and there was some research, and it was things we know, but they're actually, the researchers said that the people who make big changes in their lives are the people who connect with other people and organizations to keep them accountable. That's why we talk about NA or AA or NAMI support groups or whatever. Some of you go to church. All of those groups that you do and those things, transitions at Burl, they do some cool stuff. And it's not just because it's fun, right? But it gets you connected with other people so that you can have that connection in what you need to do to be successful. Come on in, John. I see you. And have a seat.
Seats up front.
Seats up front. I want you to sit still. I do not want you folks running in and out. Miss Sylvia left. Sit down, young lady.
She's doing my roll call.
Oh, are you really?
Yes.
Well, good for you. Well, that's how you are accountable. Good job, Sylvia. All right, we're going to let her stand there and make sure everybody signs the roll. I will tell you, some of you remember Nichole graduated, and I want you to introduce her more formally, but I do want to say I was impressed with what you did, and then the other day, I'm glad you said something to me. I was watching TV, and Gold Mountain came on with a commercial. And they were talking about how fun it is to work at Gold Mountain, and they had all these people, and all of a sudden I looked at this lady, and I thought, I think that's Nichole. And sure enough, she was. She was like the star of the TV commercial. So I know why they selected her, because she has this huge, bigger-than-life personality. And I'm real proud of her. But what I really want to do is, Charmin's worked with Nichole for a long time. I'm going to let Charmin introduce Nichole. Looking forward to seeing you. I'm very glad that you're back. So let's let Charmin introduce Nichole, and then let's give her our undivided attention. Sylvia, you're fabulous at that. You missed your calling. Yeah. You feel like the grade school teacher? Yay. All righty. Okay, Charmin.
This is Nichole Bedell. She actually finished the program early because there was really nothing else we could do for her, because she finally got it. When the judge said about success, finally picking yourself up, Nichole fell many times, and this time she learned how to pick herself up, dust herself off, lean on her support team, and keep going. And that's about all I'm going to say. And Nichole's going to finish. And I just really hope y'all take in what Nichole has to say, because she does have a story that relates to everyone in here. So I just hope everybody can take in what she has to say and really learn something from what she's going to tell you.
I usually don't have a personality to be nervous, but I might be a little bit. I would like to begin by saying it is an honor to be asked to be a speaker here, but it's also something that I've wanted to do because I've always wanted to change lives, no matter what I've done. And I think that finally I'm at a point in my life to where I can change a life. If I can just reach one person in this room, then my job, I feel like, is done. I don't have to do that from a jail anymore. There are several women in here that were with me in jail, and I sit them down and mommy them, Tanya. And so now I can do that from here, and that is self-fulfilling. I wrote this speech this morning in my bed. I said a little prayer first. Let me say this right. So this is what I've done. I haven't had a lot of practice, so I will be reading, so pardon me. The title of this was an emphasis is that I never thought something like this would happen. So you guys you'll feel that as I go through. And again, I'd like to begin by saying how much of an honor it is to be able to speak today. And honestly, I never thought that something like this could happen. And for years, I've struggled with mental illness. And in the past 13 years, that has been combined with drug addiction. And as a child, I remember my mother recognizing some of my warning signs that I had some mental health issues. But addressing those issues was not an option because I was not crazy. I'm not crazy. Mental illness is something that most people will never quite understand unless you are mentally ill. It is one thing to battle life's problems, but if you have to battle yourself, that is a completely different creature. I remember best describing my mental disease to Mom through a letter that I wrote while I was in jail. And I quote, "The best way I can have you understand what I'm going through is that there's a 6-year-old child inside of me, and there's several adults that are and that 6-year-old is trying to control several adults. Those adults are my coping personalities, and sometimes the child just can't handle it, she runs away, and the adults take over. The sad part of that is that none of those adults are responsible at all, and they each serve their own specific purpose, and none of them cares about what the child needs to take care of. And I never thought that something like that would happen. During my long history in the justice system, and that's been since I was 19 years old, and I'm now 42, no one really believed that I had any type of mental health issues, primarily due to the fact that I am a smart person, above average intelligence to some, and even smarter than that to others. And I was labeled as a master manipulator and even a menace to society, and nothing was done to treat or even identify why I did the things that I did. If this mental health course had been in place back in 1990 when I first started coming back and forth to jail, I may not have spent my entire adult life in and out of prison or enduring all the struggles that I endured. And since 1990, I have done a total of 15 day-by-day years in jail or prison. I've been housed in 3 separate women correctional facilities and 13 county jails in the state of Missouri, even one in the state of Kansas. And as a child, I never thought that something like this would happen. I see many of you in the audience that knew me either from childhood, from the criminal world, from jail or prison, or a combination of all 3. And I hope that you are taking my appearance today in front of all of you to heart. As a child, I had a lot of goals and aspirations, and none of them included being sent to jail or being a cocaine-fueled maniac. And certainly none of them included being hospitalized because I wanted to die. I wanted to kill all of the bad adults that were inside me and take the pain away. The pain away from not only myself, but also stop all the pain that I caused everyone who loved me. And I never thought that something like that would happen. When I was finally arrested in 2010, I was so far gone that I had to be on a suicide watch for about 2 weeks. And I was very thin and I was a mental wreck. I had cases all over southwest Missouri. And ever being able to see my family again was simply not an option. With my criminal history, I would never touch the streets again. I did my time, I played my case, and I'll tell you I don't know how, but I do know how. I was released in August 2011 on bond, and I decided at that time that my life had to change. I was not giving any more of the justice system a minute of my life anymore. I've never really wanted to work, kind of lazy, never wanted to work for anything. And I had no kind of work ethic unless it came to simply being inside jail on the work release system, or being a trustee. But I got my act together. I applied that same ethic that I used as a trustee and on work release to my everyday lifestyle. And within 2 weeks of my release, I was employed. Within 3 months, I had my own apartment. We're almost 2 years later, and I'm at the same job, a member of management with 2 promotions, and I'm even on a commercial. And I never thought something like that would happen. It brings warmth to my heart to be doing so well in life, living a drug, alcohol-free lifestyle. I make every effort to be on top of my mental illness. I am the first one to recognize any of my symptoms, and I address them immediately. I don't go to meetings. I don't recommend that any of you do not go to meetings. But my meeting is right there. It's my mom. When I'm not feeling myself, Mama, and I kind of cry to her. Or I hear her, I say, Mom, it's going to be okay, right? It's going to be okay. And that takes me through. That is my meeting. She tells everyone that she never thought I'd be able to do this alone. But she also follows that with how proud she is of me. And in all seriousness, I never thought that was something that would happen. Take your illness as well as your addictions very seriously. It doesn't matter how old you are, where you come from, or where you've been. If you want your life to change, you are where that starts. You must feed every positive thought with positive energy, and that will put that into motion. Do not take my words for granted and assume that I don't have my personal struggles from time to time, because I will be mentally ill for the rest of my life. The only difference is that now I respect my illness, and I take the proper steps to ensure that I do not let my illness ever take control of me again. To each graduate and staff member alike, You are all dependent on one another. And graduates, may this journey into the world be a successful one for each and every one of you. If you would have told me 3 years ago that I would be living my life like this, I would have laughed at you and told you that you were the crazy one. But now, being able to stand before all of you, give my testimony, and pray that I can change just one person's life by example, I never thought something like this would happen. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you.